Under the sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. First pride runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart of the year. Raising voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zone to go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. In Florida's field, ready or die band.
Welcome to this new edition of the South Florida edition of the Blitz here on FloridaHSFootball.com as we come to you live here. It's hard to believe, Chris. It is already week number 2 here as we roll along. This will be our third Blitz show for South Florida. We'll be on our third shows for all the regions here this week. And boy, the season is just going to go by quick if we don't watch it.
Yeah, and we had a barn burner games in South Florida this past weekend, especially with the Broward showcase.
No, absolutely. And coming up here, we'll have head coach Mike Smith from American Heritage Plantation, one of the only 2 Florida teams to bring out a W in out of the Broward County National High School Football Showcase here this past weekend here. And Chris, I got to tell you, what American Heritage did in that game was very, very impressive with everything, with backs against the wall and everything, to come out with that win. I mean, being down 28-0 and to come win that 31-28, it's just huge.
Yeah, 28-0 with 3:55 to go in the third quarter. They were going down 28-0, and to come back and win 31-28, it tells you the testament of that team.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can't wait to talk to Coach Smith about this, because honestly, that's a game. That was a game for the ages there. And as our fans are popping in here, Mark Cannon's like, thank God for American Heritage, and he definitely enjoyed. It was down there at those games, 6 of the 8 games that was there. That was Thursday through Saturday down there in South Florida and Broward County. And Emery Smith is back, and as we roll along into our Blitz Lines, we're going to recap real quick here, then we'll bring Coach Smith in to talk about everything. With everything, and of course, as we said, with all the stuff that we had, we talked to Coach Dr. Kevin Perry last week from Broward County, and who heads up the Broward County National Showcase. And boy, I'm looking at our picks here, Chris. We were definitely in our Florida teams, and we kind of took a hit here.
A big hit, and some of those national powers.
Yeah, they're legit.
Very good. They're very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good across the board. And so it just, it really, at the end of the day, when I look at it, I mean, you had Monarch versus Bulls. Obviously, it was a Florida versus Florida in that game. So Bulls was another one, by the way, that was one. So I should say there was actually 3 Florida teams that won because Dr. Phillips and Dillard, those two. But in terms of our picks, Bulls took care of business against Monarch, but when we look at Dr. Phillips and Dillard, I mean, Dillard put on a clinic of clinics and just, gave a state semifinalist and Dr. Phillips everything they got, 39-0 in that game. And, man, I'm just...
They're a very talented team, and people don't overlook Dillard because they could sleep on you in the playoffs.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I do want to bring this up here because I think it's very important. I go ahead and bring this up here. I'm going to, where I got it here. I've got it on the spreadsheet here. I'm trying to pull up the, for this week here. Let's see. There we go. Yeah. So, what happened this week in terms of the numbers here, in terms of the rankings here, Dillard shot up, not being nowhere near the top 25 to number 15 overall in the state. That's how big their win was. And according to the Power Rankings Index, that's how big their win was. I mean, and they shot. They're also now up to number 3 in Class 4A. Of course, number 1 right now in 4A still Plantation American Heritage. So,
the other game we looked at was St. Thomas Aquinas, and they were down 26-3, I think it was.
The game was fine with 26-23 final. Mater-Dade won that game by just 3. The forecast called it for Mater-Dade to win by 7. So, but that's so it's still within the range right there. But again, when I looked at everything, that was one of the 3 games that was, according to the Power Rankings Index, that St. Thomas Aquinas was predicted to lose. That was pretty spot on right there, I feel like, in that situation. Yeah. But I always looked at it like that. Like St. Thomas Aquinas could be a 7-3 team and most likely could still win 5A. I don't think. Yeah.
And you look at that game, St. Thomas Aquinas. They had the same characteristics as American Heritage did, coming back from almost. They almost had a shot, but they ran out of time.
No, absolutely, and it's all a matter of about game clock management, and obviously it's all game of inches too. But as Mark Kenneth says, the Dillard game started between 10:15 and 10:30. I mean, that's a late night in South Florida right there for you. And then of course, how about this one? And again, Mater-Dade, they're from that Trinity League out there in California. Orange Lutheran, another team that's out there from that thing. They weren't in the Broward Showcase. They were playing Miami Northwestern at Adidas Field at Travis Powell Stadium, and 17-15 Orange Lutheran escapes out of South Florida with a win over Miami Northwestern. And I got to tell you that right there, I know some people say, I saw winners and losers, and I'm like, okay, is South Florida a loser? I don't think South Florida is a loser by any means here.
No.
South Florida football is going down. I just think what I told Larry Bluestein on this show last night on WQAM 104.3 FM down there in South Florida is I told him, it's like, look, these teams play these games for a reason. Be it win or lose, these teams that play these games, these tough, challenging games, especially at a showcase like the Broward County Nationals Football Showcase, which has become the premier kickoff week 1 game here. Event. It has replaced what used to be, the Herb Street Classics and all the some of the other ones. This one, has got premier billing. These teams play for these games for these reasons, win or lose, because at the end of the day, they're expected to be making deep playoff runs come November and into early December. And a lot of these teams are expected that played in this showcase to be sitting at Pitbull Stadium come second weekend.
And we talked about it. We talked about it in during the state championship week. Whenever they play in these games, they look back at these games, especially with the Broward County Showcase, and they say, this is what helped us get the state championship game. These matchups.
No, absolutely. It's a springboard basically. So at the end of the day, for South Florida, it's again, it may not look pretty on paper when in terms of the number of the teams that won or lost, but at the end of the day, they're going to come back to this particular weekend and they're going to look at it and say, hey, this is the springboard that got us to here in December. It's not necessarily how you start. You like to start great, yes, obviously. It's how you finish. And that's how we roll with it. But with that said, that is a recap looking at the Blitz line, the headlines that basically encapsulated South Florida with the Broward County National Football Showcase. And of course, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to come back and we're going to. I'll read Mark Cannon's comment after the fact. We'll hold for that one, but we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll have head coach Mike Smith from Plantation American Heritage here on to talk about everything that happened this past weekend with his Patriots. We'll be right back here on the South Florida edition of the Blitz here on 4hsfootball.com right after this.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Touchdown! Juggled and caught!
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it, because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, it's a great chance that I can do it. The First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
All right, welcome back here to the South Florida edition of the Blitz here on 4hsfootball.com and the 4hsfootball.com social media platforms. Here as we go into our interview portion of the show here, we've got head coach Mike Smith of the American Heritage Plantation Patriots coming off a huge victory this weekend against St. Joseph's Prep out of Pennsylvania. Coach, welcome to the show. Appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule here for us. And Coach, talk about the emotions in the whirlwind coming off that win, especially the fact that y'all had y'all's backs against the wall in that third quarter of that game. That is probably one of the most impressive comebacks I have seen for any team, just to be able to come back and fight like that. That is huge. Just talk about that and everything with the game.
Well, first of all, I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me. Wow, the emotions were all over the place. I mean, we couldn't have started the game any worse. I mean, it seems like anything that we could do wrong we actually put on a clinic on how to lose a game in the first half. And, in the second half, we went back to work and we just kind of chipped away and we pulled one out at the end. But, man, the emotions of that night were kind of crazy because, you're thinking like, man, we might get running clocked here, which is crazy to even think about. And then the next thing you know, we're, at the end of the game, I told my players, I said to them, I said, what just happened? Like I had to ask them what just happened. So it was a crazy night for sure.
No, absolutely. And I mean, when you think about this, like, I mean, you said it, we might get running clock here. And this game is not just on the, streaming on local TV. This is national broadcast. So it's like, just to think about it, I mean, what did you tell the guys at halftime? And, especially in that third quarter when it was like, again, it's 28-0, you're sitting here, you're sitting there with the backs against the wall, basically, like we're one touchdown away. What were you telling them on the sidelines at this point?
For halftime, I believe we were 21-0. We were down 21-0.
21-0. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and we were down 21-0, and we came out and got a punt block right away, which made it 28-0. But I just tell them what I always tell them, like, and this has always been our message, is just one play at a time. There's no 21-point touchdown. There's no, 21-point drive. Like, you got to chip away and go back to, we're not even looking at the scoreboard at that point. It's just, just focus on the next play. Focus on the next play. Focus on the process. And if we can get a little momentum going, then we can get right back in the game. So that was kind of my message at halftime, especially coming out, because we were getting the ball back. And, we ended up punting, and that didn't go so well. Now we're down 28-0. So we just wanted to make it a little bit more interesting for the national TV audience. But that was just my message for them. Right. That was just my message, is just, listen, one play at a time, one series at a time, and we'll just, we'll see how this thing goes. But really, at the end of the day, the message is just keep playing. Just keep playing. I mean, a couple of those guys from the 26 class, which are now seniors, were in my first class when I took the job as a head coach. And, I go back to when we were in my first year, we were down 31-10 at one point to Miami Central in the state game. And we clawed our way back in, and we ended up losing by a touchdown on the 28-yard line. But
I remember that. That was impressive. Especially down there at Dry Pink Stadium. I mean, that was a fun game to watch.
Right, but it was a similar situation. Like, we didn't finish the deal, but it was a similar situation that, man, we got so far behind. But I told them at halftime, you guys are not trained to quit. You guys are, you're not trained to, you guys have been trained to keep playing, and that's what we did in that game. We came out, and unfortunately, we came up a little bit short in that game, but it's very similar. These guys just kept playing, and they kept believing, and it's funny when you're in it. When you're actually in it, I don't really think that you're looking at the totality of the whole thing. Like, you're just really trying to get some momentum going. Can we get a stop here? Can we get something going on offense? Because we hadn't had anything going on offense in the first half. So you just try to take those positives and move forward, and then next thing you know, you find yourself, right back in the game. So it was. It's just keeping the guys focused in the moment.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, talk about the chemistry between Dia Bell and Jonathan Bueno in the backfield. They had a monstrous second half, and you could hear the ESPN analysts just raving reviews over those two in the second half of play.
Yeah, well, let me start with Jonathan Bueno first. He's a kid that first year with the program, and that I've followed for a long time since the league. And he's always impressed me, but he absolutely impressed me the other night. I mean, just the way he ran angry. He ran like he ran like he's a competitor, like he wants to win. So that was a huge lift for us, just kind of, leaning on him a little bit. And then Dia Bell, I mean, I told Dia this, and I know he's broken all kinds of passing records, and he's been, he's the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state, and he won the Elite 11. But I told him this was probably one of the most impressive games I've seen him play, because he didn't play well in the first half, and he had to battle his way out of it. And I think that shows a whole nother side of Dia. It shows the toughness and the competitor that he is to bounce back in the second half and stay positive and keep us moving in the right direction. So, I think the both of them, just their will to not let us quit, to keep pushing. And I know that sounds cliche, but those guys really did will that in the second half.
Absolutely. And of course, as we look ahead to the season, obviously y'all are off this week here, one of the bye weeks y'all have got, but the gauntlet continues when you come off that bye. Shaman Madonna waits in the wings, and then a trip to New Orleans to play Edna Carr in the Superdome. Talk about that matchup right there, to be able to play in an NFL stadium that's outside of Florida.
Right. So that's been a long time coming, this matchup. We actually have tried to play this game twice. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Pat Surtain, that's his alma mater. So when Pat was the head coach here, we tried to play the game twice. In both years, I believe hurricanes went through the Louisiana area, so it just never happened. So we had an opportunity this year to make it happen. I kind of tried to put it together last year, but with Louisiana, it's kind of tough with their scheduling because they're all locked into 2-year contracts. But Coach Brown called me and he said, "Listen, we have an opportunity to host you guys, and I said, absolutely. Like I said, we've been trying to play that game for a while. Originally, we're supposed to. It's actually the location's kind of gone to a couple different places. Originally, they were trying to get it at Tulane Stadium, and then it was at their local field, almost like their Traz of Louisiana, of New Orleans area, their Traz Pal of the New Orleans area, and then finally, now they've moved it into the Superdome, which is huge. So it's going to be a good experience. And, they got a really good team. They're well coached. They were the number one team in Louisiana last year. They're projected to be the number one team in Louisiana this year. I've got a lot of respect for their program, and it should be a good time.
No, absolutely. And of course, just the remaining of the schedule, obviously Miami Central, Plantation, that's district right there, Flanagan, Norland, Archbishop McCarthy, and St. Thomas Aquinas. And I got to say, y'all were one of the few districts that had, were all, it was a 14 district. All 4 teams went to the playoffs last year. And I think it might be on track again for that to happen. Coach, speak of the quality of the district, especially the fact that Archbishop McCarthy kind of put people on notice on Friday night too, actually it was Thursday against Cardinal Gibbons, and won that game against Gibbons.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you start with Norland, who we played twice last year. And, they've always got, talented players, and they've got a good program, and you expect them to be good again. And Plantation is a program that's building, and you look at McCarthy is another one, Archbishop McCarthy, and they've got a lot of good young talent, and they've done a lot of good things over there. So, obviously, the competition and how successful those teams are in the district, it raises everybody's level. So, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. There's no gimmies in this district for sure. I mean, it's going to be a competitive district this year.
Yeah. Chris, you got a question as we wrap this up here with Coach?
Yeah, you're coming off a state championship game. Talk about the preparation in between that state championship game and this season. What are the processes you guys go as a team going through from that time period to this trip?
Well, I think the first thing that you got to have the kids realize is that everybody starts 0-0. You don't go right back to the state championship. You got to go through the whole process again. It's funny. It was only maybe 20 minutes after I won the state champion that Byron Lewis, our running back from last year, said to me, like, man, you guys got to do that all over again. Like, you're exhausted already, but and he drops that in your lap. But it's the truth though. Like, you really do have to start all over again. I mean, you got to go through your off-season program. You got to go through the spring again. You bring in some new guys. You got to get them acclimated to the program. We're fortunate enough to have a good group, a good nucleus of that 26 class of guys that have been 3 or 4 years. So you have that benefit, but again, like you got to start all over again. And this time there's we're already, a well-known program and a national program, but there's a different type of target on your back now being, I guess, defending state champions, but this is a brand new team. So, we got to go through this, new adversities, and we got to kind of figure it out. I mean, we've already went through one adversity this year. So, we're accustomed to that, and we got to go through this tough schedule again. So you just try and prepare them again. We take it day by day. We try to maximize the 24 hours that we have. And, I don't put the schedule up on any whiteboards or anything in the coach's office or the locker rooms like that. Cause it's really, we really do stress taking it one day at a time, winning those 24 hours and just kind of, trying to find ways to get better.
No, absolutely. And Coach, real quick, I got a question. There were several questions here from a couple of different people, but I'm just going to pull this one from Mark Cannon here. Have you read the book about Edna Carr, Across the River?
I have not read that book.
Ooh, I have not read that book either. So I'm
had a pretty good. I tell you what, though, they had a pretty good documentary. I think it was maybe Hulu or something like that, but very interesting. But we know a lot about him just from from Coach Pat. That's his alma mater and all the stories that he's had. But no, I have not read that book.
No, absolutely. Well, Coach, I definitely appreciate you taking some time out of the busy schedule, and best of luck the rest of the way this season. I know I'm feeling pretty confident we'll be seeing you deep in the playoffs here, but we definitely wish y'all the best of the luck here as y'all roll through the season here. And again, thank you for joining us here on the South Florida edition of the Blitz.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you. All right, that was head coach Mike Smith from Plantation American Heritage. The Patriots, again, a big win over St. Joseph's Prep out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania this past weekend. That was on the ESPN family of networks. And, man, that was a great interview there, Coach Chris.
Oh, yeah, it was. And you could hear it in his voice. He was just as stunned as everybody else is with that game.
But at the end of the day, again, as we talked about at the start of the show, it's games like this is the reason why they'll come back to it, deep in the playoffs in December. This is why they're playing for a state title versus maybe somebody that's not playing for a state title.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. They even got St. Thomas Aquinas on the schedule again this year.
And that's their fine. And that's a week 10 game. And they will have week 11 off. They'll have week 11 and week 12 off, depending on if they don't need to use week 12 for makeup or anything like that. But it really is impressive here. All right, we're kind of coming up here where we've got to take a quick break, and then we'll be back here. Take a couple more. Let's see whatever pops up in the chat here, and then we will definitely roll into the pick six. We'll be back here on the South Florida edition of the Blitz right after this.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Juggled and caught.
All right, welcome back here to the South Florida edition of the Blitz here. Yeah, Emery, I definitely agree with you. I think there's some issues going on with Facebook itself. It's not us, and I'm thinking that with the YouTube streaming, we're probably gonna. I mean, I wanted to keep trying to go multiple platforms here, but I think this is a reason why, like some other platforms that I know of, like Broward Sports Network and a couple others, have been really kind of pushing the YouTube and not the Facebook. I think the support on Facebook streaming has just kind of gone downhill. It's not what it used to be, and I think if this keeps up, we're gonna kind of probably push it towards more of a being a YouTube only platform, but for the shows. But that's okay, because we want everybody to come to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button at Florida HS Football, and hit that notification bell, when we go live or post any new videos, so
don't forget to hit like too.
Yeah, hit that like button, hit the like buttons on the video, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. 3 things y'all can do. It takes 10 seconds or less to do all 3 of those things. So we definitely appreciate that. And Stephen Thatch, good evening to you. Edna Carr's the real deal this year for sure. He said he was at a practice of theirs. Going to be a tough out there for American Heritage, I think. And that's going to be a tough game. I mean, going to New Orleans, I mean, Yeah, I don't have a. Do I have a sounder? No, I don't have a sounder for this one. I just, I think I should have a sounder for knock on wood on that one. Because that game on that one, those two, that game knocking on wood. I needed to knock on wood on that one because you heard Coach say it's been twice they have tried to play that game. Twice that we're not even going to say what it is. We're just going to leave it. We're just going to leave it alone because honestly, yeah. Anyways, and Emery Smith said, Emery's talking about the YouTube stuff. Yeah, definitely hit that YouTube chat like button, subscribe button, and the notification bell as well. Well, guess what? You know what time it is.
Pick six.
Yeah, pick six. Time for the pick six for week 2. As we roll along here, we get ready here. Let's go ahead and hit this up. Cardinal Gibbons at South Broward for our first game up this week. And Cardinal Gibbons coming off a close loss to Archbishop McCarthy in that game. And that was interesting there to see that happen. But Archbishop McCarthy, a 42-35 winner over Cardinal Gibbons last week. And Cardinal Gibbons now trying to look for win number 1 of the season here. And Mark Cannon, I can't even get our picks out. Mark Cannon's already given us a pick here.
Yeah.
And so here is the forecasted line. Cardinal Gibbons 6 over South Broward, giving Cardinal Gibbons a 72% chance of winning the game. South Broward 28%. So, Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, this is going to be closer than people think. South Broward is not a bad team, and they're one of the up and coming teams. They've been in the conversation in Broward County for many years. But Cardinal Gibbons should win this thing, but it's going to be closer than people think.
Yeah, I'm leaning Gibbons. I like what Matt DeBuck does there. I think that kind of caught him off guard, maybe a little bit on Archbishop on McCarthy playing that tight with them, and I think Gibbons is going to be in a mood, ticked off mood for this game. So I am leaning the Gibbons as well, and Reno goes Gibbons as well. And it looks like in the chat, they are saying Cardinal Gibbons over South Broward. So pretty much everybody is going Cardinal Gibbons. All right. As we roll into our next game, Columbus at Our Lady of Good Counsel. Say that very fast. Our Lady of Good Counsel and Maryland. They are getting on the plane Thursday. By the way, I got to get a helmet sticker to Columbus. Not once. They tried playing on Thursday against Southridge.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Saturday morning at 10 o'clock.
They tried.
All right. Third time yesterday afternoon. Well, we got to midway through the third quarter, and three times. Went final 14-7. Columbus wins that game over Southridge. They got to get on a plane Thursday and head up to Maryland. So, I mean, it's definitely one of those things. But I got to tell you here, the game is predicted to be close here, Chris. As Columbus is, the computer is saying Columbus 3 over Our Lady of Good Counsel. By the way, this will be Our Lady of Good Counsel's first game of the season because, their season starts this week.
I hate to go against Columbus in this thing, but I think they're going to be very weary and very tired. And Good Counsel is a very good program up in Maryland. Give me Good Counsel by a touchdown.
Gonna go Good Counsel, huh?
Yep.
I'm going Columbus here. I feel like Dave Dunn is going to have these guys ready. I know that they tried 3 times to play against Southridge. I give them much props for it, but you know what? we Mark Cannon says he has no clue. For the first time, I have no clue.
Oh boy!
I love it. Instead of playing we have stumped our fans with the picks. I'll just give myself a round of applause.
Yeah.
So win probability Columbus 61% over Good Counsel. I'm going Columbus and Reno is going Columbus. All right, to our third game. Miami Edison versus Miami Central. I mean, we never know what we're going to get out of Uncle Luke in Miami Edison. We never know. But Miami Central, I mean, first game of the season. By the way, it's such still, again, disappointment with that game.
Disappointment with scheduling again.
The game with Reigns not getting played. That man, I got a host of opinions I cannot say on air about that one. So there we go.
Oh yeah.
But as we roll along here, Miami Central is a 17-point favorite over Miami Edison, 93% chance of winning that game. Central, Mark Hannon says he's going to be there. I'm going to agree with the algorithm. I just take the Rockets, and it's a 3:30 p.m. game, by the way. So there you go, right in the mid-hot summer afternoon.
Yeah, I like Miami Central, and it's not going to be close.
All right, Miami Central, and we are all going with Central here for the win here. All right, let's roll along here in the picks. West Boca Raton at I believe it's West Boca Raton. It's Palm Beach Central at West Boca Raton. This is a home game, and let's just pull up the forecast. Yes, Palm Beach Central is coming off a 17-15 loss to Pahokee, but I mean, what can you say? When you play Pahokee, you just never. Pahokee. It's 27-25. Excuse me, 27-25. I had the numbers. I was 7 and a 5. I reversed and put 1 instead of 2. So, man, I don't know.
We're looking at the defending the champions.
Yeah,
and a very good team.
You know what? Give me West Boca and the Bulls here, and we're gonna go with that for right now. But you never know what Palm Beach Central could do. And Reno's going West Boca. Chris, are you going West Boca as well?
Yes, I am, all the way.
Yeah, Mark Cannon says he'll be there Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Oh, what? I think it's 6:30 actually. I think in Palm Beach because I thought there were 6:30 kickoffs down there.
There's 6:30 kickoff in Palm Beach.
Yeah, but Mark Cannon's going West Boca as well. I mean, everybody's going West Boca, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, game number 5, West Broward at Camden County, Georgia, and West Broward. They had a little bit of struggle in the Broward County Showcase, but you know what, Camden County. The thing about Camden County is that they score a lot of points, but they also know how to give up a lot of points. So this might be a game that where West Broward, hey, you know what? Okay, we dropped the ball in week 1, but can we go up to Kingsland and show them what we got in week 2? Well, the forecast is calling for Camden County 11 over West Broward, giving Camden County an 85% chance. But we're saying the computer's saying West Broward has a chance, but my gut says go Camden County in the Wildcats with Travis Rowland at the helm.
Yeah, Camden County, I don't see them losing at home, but West Broward, tough to them playing these games like they are. That's going to play dividends in the long run.
No, I think it'll pay dividends for them in the long run as well. But as we roll along here to our final game, Santa Lucia's versus Palm Beach Gardens here, Chris. I believe this game is going to be at Santa Lucia's. Let's pull this game up here. Santa Lucia's 14-point favorite over Palm Beach Gardens. Somebody's got to get a win here. So this is a battle of 0-1 and 0-1. But giving Hector Clavijo's group, the Chiefs, a 90% chance of winning this game here. What are you thinking here?
It's going to be closer than people think, but I think Santa Lucia will win.
You know, you go with Santa Lucia's here. I mean, part of me wants to roll with Palm Beach Gardens, but you know what? At the end of the day, I have to roll with Santa Lucia's with the computer, and Reno is going Palm Beach Gardens. So he is taking the roll of the dice, and we'll see what happens. See who's right come at the end of the week here as we wrap up here with our pick 6 here. And Chris, any final thoughts as we get ready to sign it off and get ready to set for our Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz, where we'll have head coach Jason Roberts from Tampa Bay Tech on to talk about the Titans' big win over Venice.
Well, at least you don't have the same problem as Cracker Barrel, so
I was wondering how long it was going to take before Cracker Barrel got brought up in the chat. Well, we have arrived. We have arrived. Well, with that said, now you got me hungry thinking about Cracker Barrel. Thanks, Mark. Thanks. Give me the meatloaf. Give me the chicken dumplings.
Give me the chicken.
Or give me the chicken tenders. There we go. But anyways, all right, everybody, we're signing off here on the South Florida edition of the Blitz. We'll be back here in a few minutes for the Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz. All right. See you then.